So, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, what an immense pleasure it is to close out the 2022 Regional Clean Energy Outlook Conference, Advancing Climate and Security Goals. This has been a remarkable conference. Any of you in the audience, particularly those in Turkey that know me, know I would give almost anything to be in Istanbul, so I'm really sorry I couldn't be there for this edition of the conference, as I was away on a family wedding in Colorado and just landed back in Washington, D.C. We hope that this convening has fulfilled the role we envisaged for it to set the clean energy agenda in this expansive and multifaceted region. It's actually regions. Turkey, as you know, sits among many regions. There's a Black Sea region, there's a Central Asian region, there's a Middle Eastern region, and that's really what makes Turkey so valuable, that it sits at the center of so much, and also, of course, Europe and Caspian, Caucasus, etc. It's been an honor to hold this conference in partnership with the European Bank of Reconstruction and Development. We thank the EBRD for its support in bringing the conference ministerial together as well, and we look forward to reconvening the Regional Energy Outlook Conference on an annual basis. We would also like to thank C5 Capital for its strategic partnership on this conference, without which this event could not have been possible. We also would like to thank all of our partners supporting the work of the Atlantic Council in Turkey and the Global Energy Center over these many years. We're grateful for their continued and long-standing support. We come together this week in a world and a region in turmoil, emerging from the pandemic and into a war, Putin's war in Ukraine, which has threatened to divide East and West, North and South, developed and developing. In addition to the terrible human tragedy that continues to unfold in Ukraine, Russia's violation of international law and international norms will have consequences that may reverberate across the global order for years to come, representing a geopolitical inflection point that many of you in the audience know that I have compared to the end of World War I, the end of World War II, and the end of the Cold War. This is a period of time that has no less great consequences, and it will be shaped by how we act together with partners and allies across the globe. And energy is going to be a critical fault line in this future. And it's also a critical fault line in Russia's efforts to destroy the rules-based international order that was built after World War II. First, Moscow has used energy as a tool to achieve some of its war aims, weaponizing its gas exports to accelerate an energy crisis in Europe. We've heard recently that Europe is preparing well for the winter, that this should go better than expected, but we shouldn't be in this position at all. This threat to Europe has made abundantly clear the risk of overdependence on Russian energy and reawakened a long overdue conversation around the role that clean energy can play in ensuring energy security within the global energy transition. Second, Europe's energy crisis has global ramifications. Heightened demand for a limited global supply of liquefied natural gas is pricing out poor regions of the world that rely on LNG, compelling a reversion to dirtier fuels to soften the blow of the global gas crunch. Moreover, the global surge in energy prices is whipping up inflation and putting the post-pandemic economic recovery at risk. And the latest OPEC Plus decision to reduce production is not going to help with that at all. All of these developments risk undermining, either by distraction or destabilization, the global cohesion necessary to realize the urgency of global climate action and a net zero emission world. While the global energy crisis remains atop the agenda, it should not distract from the continuously unfolding climate crisis. From unprecedented heat waves across Europe this summer to deadly flooding in Pakistan and the recent carnage from hurricanes in the Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico, climate change is already imposing harsh economic and humanitarian costs on the world. These costs also threaten the global economy and risk the prosperity and security that has underwritten the post-Cold War global order. That's why we host a conference like this. That's why we have a global energy center at the Atlantic Council that works on climate mitigation. That's why we have and Adrian Arch Rockefeller Foundation Center at the Atlantic Council that works on climate adaptation, and that's why we'll all be at COP27 and COP28 working on these issues. The energy transition is driven in part by the urgency to avoid these costs, but will itself require massive investment. If implemented correctly, it will bring about countless co-benefits and be a driver of economic growth, innovation, and energy security for all. Tying these two threads together, the Regional Clean Energy Outlook Conference has come at a moment when the global energy system is confronting a concurrent and compounding geopolitical, energy security, and climate crises that can either impede humanitarian progress in the 21st century or present an unmatched opportunity to build a cleaner, more prosperous, and more secure global economy in the decades to come. In every crisis lies opportunity. And in this crisis lies a gigantic opportunity to bring energy transition and energy security together because they do not contradict each other. Therefore, we are pleased that this conference has given us the opportunity to shape a path forward during this historic inflection point, to ensure that this crisis does not impose upon us the false choice between energy security or climate action, and indeed they belong together. The demand for leadership has never been greater, regardless of whether we come from east, west, north, south, or resource-rich, or energy poor, or anywhere in between. The leadership demands of today's energy challenges also underscores the importance that we have gathered here in person in Istanbul, and of course virtually around the world. But in Istanbul, we are in a city that has always been at the crossroads of regions, of cultures, of political systems. Turkey, as well as the rest of the region, has a critical role to play in this moment when energy security and energy transition appear deceivingly to be at odds. As you leave the conference today and look at the beautiful site on the Bosporus, just remember what a crucial place you're sitting in. This region has long been a geopolitical fulcrum between East and West, a region with significant potential as a gas transport hub between Europe and Asia, but with even greater potential as a beacon of clean energy leadership, and that's why we're here. So on behalf of the Atlantic Council, it has been an honor to convene this timely gathering in such a pivotal region, one of my favorite cities, favorite places in the world, for helping to shape the future of the global energy system. As uncertain as that future may be, I look forward to our future annual convenings on these topics because it is human agency, it is our individual agency that will shape these outcomes. So thank you once again to all of our partners for your generous support, for your commitment to the Regional Clean Energy Outlook Conference as a platform for convening such excellent ideas from around the region. I'd also like to thank the members of the Atlantic Council's Board and International Advisory Board who are in attendance. Teresa Carlson, so thanks so much to Teresa for really leading our board in Istanbul on the site. Ebru Özdemir, who has been such a leader of the International Advisory Board for so long. Ana Palacio, former foreign minister of Spain, and Ahmed Oren, one of the leaders of our board for many years already. Your enthusiasm and support for our work both fulfills us and drives us forward. And with that, it's my distinct pleasure to welcome my dear friend and colleague, Defne Arslan, Senior Director of the Atlantic Council in Turkey, and the Atlantic Council's Turkey representative back to the stage. She'll bring this year's Regional Clean Energy Outlook Conference to a close. But let me, in front of everyone, really thank Defne for her leadership of our office in Turkey, and really her work that goes way beyond Turkey to Washington and the world, and to her remarkable team, Pinar and Radio. It's an honor to work with all of you, and thanks again to all of you for coming, and thanks for your support.